sentimental like the words are just a piece of my soul. I transcend into the artist that I want to be. I demonstrate my dominance and derelict with dialect. My etiquette is excellence. I dedicate my all to this. I solemnly swear it. I serenade with selections of different cadences to kill it. Really invested in this.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. This is gonna be a new series I'm starting, and it's gonna be like how-to basic, like the basics of getting started in anything. I'm gonna have these posted on my website, along with obviously they're gonna be on YouTube, but mainly this is gonna be for the newer audience getting into mining, because a lot of my earlier videos on like how to do this or how to do that, they're buried way far back in my channel. So this is basically me taking some of my experience that I've gained over the last year especially, and packaging it, repackaging it again in hopefully a better way. So this is going to be episode 1, and the first thing is how to buy used graphics cards, because everybody asks me, what do you look for, how do you do it, I don't want to get burned, and so far, if my cat would quit walking in front of the camera, so far I actually haven't been burned on any used graphics cards from eBay, Craigslist, buying from people on Discord. There's a lot of things that you got to look for. Right off the bat, if you're buying from eBay, the way I look is you want to make sure the seller's rating is 100%, and I try to buy from people that have a minimum of 100 feedback. That shows that they have a history, and their history is good, obviously. The more feedback and the higher percentage, the better. Now, if they have like 10,000 feedback and their percentage is like 96, 97%, that's pretty good. Obviously, with 10,000 sales, they'll probably have a little bit of negative stuff in there, but it's definitely worth rolling the dice on, and you have a good percentage of coming out nice. The second thing, when you're buying something, use PayPal. Use something that has a buyer protection built into it. PayPal is definitely for the buyer. So if you have a problem with it, you can put up a dispute, and most of the time you can get your money back. I had to do a PayPal dispute when I bought a PS4 used last year on eBay. I bought it used from an individual. It wasn't like I bought it from a corporation or a company, anything like that, but I got the PS4 here, and it wasn't anything that the individual did. It was actually the shipping company had dropped and damaged the box, and it had ripped open, and they taped it back, but the controller had come out. It was supposed to come with the controller. He verified, like, yeah, it did ship with the controller, but the box ripped open. The box was in a horrible condition. So we worked it out, and through eBay and through the buyer protection service, he just refunded me some money so I could go buy another controller, and it all worked out good in the beginning. The best thing is to stay calm, cool, and collected, because most of the time people on the internet a lot of people are like, oh, everybody's out to get you, but if they're a seller and they have good feedback, they want to continue that. They don't want to ruin it. Just getting over on one person's not gonna let them retire and go to the Bahamas for any reason. But I wanted to use a real life example. So I just actually bought some cards off of Discord. Now the safest way, obviously, to buy stuff off of Discord is to buy from a trusted seller. We have a sales section in our Discord, and there's not a lot of trusted sellers because it takes a little bit to earn that. But I did buy from a trusted seller, and it came in a short amount of time. It came in packaged well. So let me rotate my camera over here. There is plenty of these bubble wrap and more bubble wrap, and then when I actually pulled the cards out of here, or the boxes out of here, he shipped them in the original boxes inside of another box. That is honestly a sign of an awesome seller. I absolutely hate when the guys ship the actual box of the graphics card and they just wrap it in paper and then ship that, because there's a lot less protection. So if they ship it inside of another box, then you have the protection of this box and the other one, because nowadays with shipping companies, they can get hit, torn up, anything. But the first thing you do, obviously, when you get a graphics card is you want to get the graphics card out and go over everything, and make sure it's the actual graphics card that matches the description. So for an example, right here, I got a Seahawk MSI GTX 1080 Ti. I have no doubt about buying from this seller that it is legitimate, but we'll go ahead and open it up and go through the paces like any normal sale would be. So I did buy this. It's definitely a used card. It's been mined on. A lot of people ask me, you know, should I buy something that has been mined on? And I'm like, well, are you going to mine on it? And it is verified working. And they're like, well, yes and yes. And then I said, it's not a problem to buy something that has been used for mining. If they've taken care of it, it's going to be a non-issue. And most miners actually take care of their cards better than what you think. So, I actually need to cut this clip and I'll start it back because this memory card is about to be full. Okay, so I got swapped out the battery pack, so we already got a full battery. Let me get back to getting the graphics card open. Okay, so now it's got the original MSI CDs and documents in here. That's awesome. It means he really shipped me kind of everything. It's got all the extra foam and padding inside the box. And let's pull the actual graphics card out and take a look at it. Well, this one's really easy to tell it's the original graphics card because this is a hybrid, a water-blocked, water-cooled 1080 Ti, and obviously the 1080 Ti is right here, and then the radiator and fan are right there. So no doubt about it, this is the card that I ordered, and it's here, and it looks good. So the next thing to do is do not go ahead and just put this in a box and wait for it to get ready for your mining rig, because some people are like, oh, they buy cards when they find a good deal, but then they don't install them to find out if they're working until they have their mining rig together. You really need to have a test bench system. So what I mean by a test bench system is, let me turn the camera around and show you what I use for a test bench. And it doesn't have to be anything expensive by any means. Right here is my test bench. All it is a Ryzen 4. I have a GT 1030 in here for a display, and then it's got another slot that I can put other graphics cards in. So in a little NVMe 120 gig drive, I have Windows put on there. I'll power this thing down, I'll slam the graphics card in there, we'll power it all back up, make sure everything's working, make sure the overclock stick, make sure it doesn't overheat, all those kind of things. Run it through a full gambit, go ahead and mine on it a little bit. After you've gone through that sort of those steps, which actually I'm going to do that here with mine in a second, that's when you can go ahead and put it back in the box and get it ready for your mining rig. Because some people, you know, they'll buy one card here, one card there, and they lump them all together till they get a full 6-card rig, and then they'll actually assemble the rig. But you want to find out if that thing's going to be good right away. You don't want to wait 2, 3, 4 weeks later and then try to go back and say, hey, eBay, I had a problem, and use their buyer protection or the PayPal protection, just because it looks a lot more fishy, not only to eBay, but also to the seller. It's like, dang, have you been using this thing and abusing it? You know, did you drop it, do all this stuff? What's been going on with it? Why did it take you 4 weeks or 3 weeks to get back to me? So this is just the best way to go about it on your end to make sure everybody has understanding. Test it, install it, look at it, go over it right off the bat. So guys and gals, this is Brandoncoin, and this is going to be the how-to basics series. We're going to go through everything and breaking it down, basically for the the new guys. That's who I tried to cater to in the beginning of my channel, and I want to get back to that. So if you go to my website, brandonco.in or brandoncoinmining.com, those are both going to be redirecting to my actual website. It's still going to be under construction, but there's going to be that how-to video series on the tab. So you just click on that how-to tab, and those are going to be sectioned off where all the how-to videos are going to be. So I look forward to giving you guys a lot of content in there. Obviously, we're going to be going through building mining rigs, what graphics cards I think are good, bad, for the month, for the year, all that kind of stuff. And obviously this is not a perfect way to do it. This is my opinion, and this has been my experience over the last year especially. I was into computers before this, but I did not do any mining. So obviously I will have different ways from other people, but if anybody has any constructive criticism or comments, please just leave them down below on YouTube, and I'd love to hear from you guys. So and if you want a request for a certain kind of video, how to mine this, how to mine that, please drop that in the comments too, because I'd love to see what you guys want next, especially. So if you want to hang around, I'm going to record putting this 1080 Ti in and see how it does right out of the box. So let's go, guys. Alright guys, so if you hung around, then I appreciate you, and let's get this 1080 Ti in for sure. So it's got, oh yeah, beefy radiator, 120 mil fan on there. It looks like it's a Corsair setup, and we're gonna be mounting this. Let me twist the camera around. This is it looks like the 1080 Ti. It's got the like nylon braided covers, so really nice quality. There's some of them that come with like the plastic corrugated looking stuff. I did not want that because it definitely looks, I mean, that might be right up underneath that, but it gives the appearance of a better quality product. Alright guys, so here's my Ryzen 7 system. I'm going to be trying to mount the radiator at this back panel right there. My actual fan header is right here, so it's right close by, and the graphics card is going in the first slot. So let me try to get that all lined up. Pulling the plastic off the graphics card right now. I'm going to try to get the card lined up first, and then we'll mount the radiator. Don't know if that's the best way to do it or not, but seems to be the most logical. And it looks like I need to move. I have a USB 3.0 header kind of in the way. Let me move that if I can get it out. To come out. There we go. Okay. Alright, so I'll have to reroute that cable. No big deal. This is definitely a little bit more cumbersome than mounting your typical non-water blocked or water cooled 1080 for sure. So I got it lined up in the slot. Boom, she's in, locked down. I'm going to go ahead and screw the front panel down. Alright, now that card is screwed down and locked down, we can work on getting, before we're going to mount this, I'd like to plug in the actual fan header, make sure we are going to have fan power. And this one's only a 3 port. Alright, I think we're good right there. We'll do a little bit of cable management here in a second. As for the screws, would it be better to do it like this, maybe? That feels pretty natural. It's not the best routing, but it's not horrible either. Let me go from the back side. And the box, the actual card did come included with its own mounting screws, so I will definitely use those to make sure I have the right thread pitch. Put a couple screws in there. See what it actually looks like. Can't quite see over here. Oh, there it is. Alright, so that lines up with a standard 120mm fan bracket for sure, which is awesome. Keeps everything super simple. And my dog is in there whining. Probably needs to go out to the bathroom if you can hear her. I'm going to go let her out here in a second. the radiator and fan is mounted for the cooler. And just need to do a little bit of cable management, get that, make sure the fan cable isn't going to be touching anything. And now I need to plug in the power for the graphics card. It's going to take an 8-pin right here and then a 6-pin right here. So to turn a 6-pin into an 8-pin, it's usually on a nice power supply or any modern power supply, it's going to have a 6-pin. So it's going to have these little 2 right here. You just make sure to line up the notches with the actual notches on the actual plug so you're plugging it in correctly. And then make sure to orientate it the way. And it looks like my battery's dying. So guys, I'll see you on the next one. Adios. Did it die yet? That's weird. It says it's recording, but I can't see anything. So I guess this clip's going to go as long as it's going to go. Thanks for hanging out with us, guys.